Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. Massachusetts numbers of COVID-19 have slightly increased. This may be due to a lack of vigilance and a sense of complacency. It's important to remember to stay masked and 6 feet apart, so we can resume normal activities as soon as possible. This week's episode will continue to give updates on the state and plans for reopening, as well as histories of two small towns, Cheshire and Sheffield. First, it's time for this week's trivia question, which will be answered during our Sheffield segment. This week's question is, which school in Sheffield has produced several Olympic athletes and professional soccer players? Now, for this week's local entertainment headlines. The state of Massachusetts has been quiet for the past 2 weeks with their updates regarding reopenings. We are still in phase 4 with only bars and nightclubs not reopened yet. Numbers have plateaued, meaning they aren't increasing, but at the same time, they aren't decreasing either. Vaccines for the general public have started, although there may be a backlog of updates and a lack of places to get the vaccine. Visit mass.gov for further information, as well as where to register. Additionally, the Baker administration has announced $14.6 million in awards for 295 businesses and another round of COVID relief grants. This marks the 11th round that the state has offered. To date, the administration has awarded almost $648 million in direct financial relief to over 14,000 businesses across the Commonwealth. This comes along with the federal COVID relief package. Information on the pandemic is always changing, so visit mass.gov for more information. And keep watching WWHEN. Colleges like MCLA and Williams have faced challenging times, but the past few weeks have proven especially tough. Students returned back from spring break and did not follow specific guidelines on quarantining and wearing masks. As a result, the school year has undergone many changes at both colleges. At MCLA, all classes are now being done remotely at home. This was done after numerous positive tests at the flag townhouses forced lockdowns. Resident halls were officially closed on April 11th. On an earlier episode of WWHEN, I stated that MCLA was planning on bringing back certain sports like lacrosse and mixed tennis. Unfortunately, with the move to virtual learning, sports have now been canceled for the season. Also, on April 2nd, it was announced that MCLA would be hosting a virtual graduation for both the class of 2020 and 2021. 2021s will be held first on May 15th, while the class of 2020 will be held the next day, May 16th. Mary Dana Hinton, president of Hollins College, will be the keynote speaker at 2020 ceremony, and Ty Allen Jackson, an award-winning children's author, will be the keynote speaker for 2021s. Williams College is also asking students to quarantine or isolate if they or anyone close to them has tested positive. Classes are being done virtually, but on campus as all students are remaining in their dorms. Students are also being asked to order food through delivery services. As of last check, Williams College was planning on holding an in-person graduation, although details were sparse. Because Williams College is bigger than MCLA is, they may have to do a virtual ceremony as well, so visit Williams' website for more information. The Images Cinema in Williamstown has entered the first phase of its reopening plan with private theater rentals. The theater has been closed for over a full year since the pandemic began. This will be available for rentals for quarantine pods and other groups. Moviegoers can choose from a wide range of movies, both classic and recent films. The full list of movies can be seen on this website and is always changing. Eventually, the cinema hopes to open up in full, but for now, the private rentals are the theater's best and only options. For watching the movies, groups can be no larger than 20 people, and quarantine pods of 6 or fewer people can sit together. Masks must be worn at all times, and visitors will be required to sign a waiver stating that everyone in your group are COVID-free. Seating within the auditorium is limited to pairs of specific seats with at least 6 feet apart between each pair of seats, only allowed in every other row. There will also be hand sanitizer stations located throughout the theater. The rental price starts at $350, with a discounted price of $275 for Image Cinema members. Visit imagescinema.org/private-rentals for more information. Several theater companies in the Berkshires are beginning their 2021 reopening plans. For instance, the Berkshire Theater Group has announced a tentative schedule for their 2021 season. In an interview she gave to the Berkshire Eagle, BTG Artistic Director Kate McGuire said, quote, "We have opportunities to do theater in unique and wonderful ways in our various spaces. My hope is that audiences will be rejuvenated to go back to the theater," end quote. This comes after Berkshire Theater Group had a successful performance of Godspell in the summer of 2020. In fact, it was the first show to be approved under the Actors Equity Association during the pandemic. BTG's first show in 2021 will be a performance of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest at the Fitzpatrick Main Stage in Stockbridge from June 18th through July 10th. Next, the Colonial Theater in Pittsfield will be holding 2 concerts from theater legends Kelly O'Hara on June 25th and 26th, and Norm Lewis on July 2nd and 3rd. The Colonial will also be holding BTG's annual community production. This year it is scheduled to be The Wizard of Oz, which will run from July 23rd through August 15th. Finally, the Unicorn Theater in Stockbridge will be debuting the play Nina Simone for Women from August 13th through September 15th. All of these performances will be held outside under tents. And please note that all dates are scheduled to change depending on whatever COVID situation is in place. Ticket sales are currently being done online only. In-person tickets won't be sold until April 19th at their Pittsfield location and June 7th at their Stockbridge location. Tickets cost $50 for all shows except for premiere nights, which cost $75. Additionally, a 10% ticket discount is being offered for all frontline workers, and a portion of all sales from The Importance of Being Earnest, Nina Simone for Women, and the Norm Lewis concert will go to the Actors Fund and Black Theatre United. Visit the BTG website for more information. Another theater looking into their future that has released their tentative schedule is Shakespeare and Company and Lenox. They recently completed their construction of the new Spruce Theatre, which sits under towering spruce trees and is the company's largest theater. There will only be 3 productions at Shakespeare and Company, which is a much shorter season than usual due to the pandemic. The new Spruce Theatre will debut with a performance of King Lear starring Christopher Lloyd, which will run from July 2nd through August 29th. Next, the one-woman show Becoming Othello, A Black Girl's Journey, will run from July 16th through the 25th at the Roman Garden Theatre. Finally, the community workshop production of Shakespeare's Measure for Measure will run from September 1st through the 5th. Again, all dates are scheduled to change depending on the current COVID situation. Tickets for the season go on sale beginning April 29th for the general public. The cost of tickets is still to be determined. The theater has also instituted a COVID-19 code for courtesy for all in-person outdoor shows. This includes requiring visitors to practice social distancing and wearing masks at all times. Contact tracing will be enabled. All ticket buyers will be required to provide contact information for everyone in their party. Visit Shakespeare.org for more information. A popular arts festival is returning to Great Barrington this summer. The Berkshire Arts Festival will be celebrating its 25th anniversary, with the show containing multiple artwork from different artists. According to its website, quote, "As artists, it is our nature to be eternal optimists. What we do is personal, and we have chosen to share our vision with whoever is interested," end quote. The show contains both 2D and 3D work, and is of interest of anyone who is a fan of this work. Each year, some 500 art vendors show up to this event to show off their historic artwork. It will take place at Ski Butternut in Great Barrington, which will provide artists with exhibition space that includes indoor air conditioning, large white tents, and free parking. There will also be a limited number of food vendors, but this will depend on whatever COVID rules are in place. The Berkshire Arts Festival will run from July 2nd through the 4th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 2nd and 3rd, and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the 4th. Tickets cost $14 for adults, $13 for seniors ages 64 and up, $7 for students, and children 10 and under can get in for free. Tickets are only sold at the box office, not online. The Berkshire Arts Festival is located at Ski Butternut in Great Barrington at 380 State Road, Route 23. It's now time for this week's history portion of WWHEN. This week we'll be visiting 2 of the smaller towns in Berkshire County, in Cheshire and Sheffield. Though they are smaller in size than many of the other towns mentioned, they have their own unique qualities as well. First, we'll be starting with the history of Cheshire, Massachusetts. This small town has a population of just over 3,200 people. Cheshire was first settled in 1766. The valley town was founded by Baptists from Rhode Island, the first settlers in the region who were not of the established Puritan Church. The early colonists were mostly descendants of those who had followed Roger Williams to Rhode Island to practice their religion freely. One of the emigration's leaders was Colonel Joe Stafford, who built his house on Stafford Hill and led the men of Cheshire into war during the Revolution. These troops from Cheshire distinguished themselves at the Battle of Bennington in 1777. It was officially incorporated as a town in 1793, and it is named after the county of Cheshire in England. The town had early forges and sawmills, gristmills, and tanneries, and in 1812, the Cheshire Crown Glass Company opened. The company produced glass for windows using sand from the lane bed in nearby Lanesborough. The factory that the company was located in was built over sand that had even finer quality than that of the glass, and in 1845 it was renamed the Berkshire Glass Company. Even though it is a rural town, it has been taking on recreational and residential overtones. 225 acres of open slopes and wooded trails are located at Farnham's Historical Village, and there are also several walking trails in the area, good for those who are interested in the outdoors. Cheshire is joined with Adams to form the Hoosic Valley Regional School District. For many years, Cheshire had their own elementary school called Cheshire Elementary School. However, in 2017, budget cuts in the school district forced the school to unfortunately shut down. Now, Cheshire natives share schools with Hoosic Valley Elementary and Adams Memorial Middle School. The high school is known as Hoosic Valley High School. This year marks a very important year for the high school, as it is the 50th anniversary of the first class graduating. Its sports teams are known as the Hurricanes, who recently won the Massachusetts State Women's Basketball Championship. Our other town in discussion is Sheffield. Like Cheshire, its population is just over 3,200 people. The land where Sheffield is located was purchased in 1724. Originally, New York claimed the land, but eventually Massachusetts was able to gain the funds to purchase the town. Sheffield was officially incorporated on June 22, 1733. In fact, it was the first town incorporated in what is now Berkshire County. And like Cheshire, Sheffield is also named after a famed English town. Sheffield has a unique connection to early American history. It was home to one of the earliest declarations against British rule. The Sheffield Resolves, or Sheffield Declaration, was an early American petition against British rule and a manifesto for individual rights. It was drawn up as a series of resolves approved by the town on January 12, 1773, and was published in the Massachusetts Spy, Thomas's Boston Journal, a month later. Shown here is the newspaper it was originally printed in. In addition, Sheffield was also the site of the final battle of Shays Rebellion, which was an uprising in western Massachusetts in response to a debt crisis and opposition to the state's increased efforts to collect taxes. Many people were wounded in the event, and the Sheffield battle marked the end of the rebellion. Today, a monument, as shown here, is located in this town to honor those who lost their lives. Additionally, the town was home of several battles of the French-Indian War, one of the costliest in American history. Sheffield is part of the South Berkshire Regional School District. Besides Sheffield, other towns in this region include Alford, Egremont, Monterey, and New Marlborough. The elementary school is known as Undermountain due to the location of the school near a mountain. It was founded in 1993. The middle school is known as New Marlborough Middle School. According to its website, quote, built in 1932, our school retains much of its old-fashioned charm. The sense of community among staff, faculty, students, and families is strong. New Marlborough Central offers multi-age classrooms, project-based learning, and frequent all-school exhibitions and gatherings, end quote. The high school is Mount Everett High School. It was designated as a Carnegie Model School in 1988, meaning it focuses on a more advanced education system. Mount Everett has been named one of the top high schools in the country by the U.S. News and World Report 4 of the last 5 years. Sheffield also provides the answer to this week's trivia question. As a reminder, this week's question was, which school in Sheffield has produced several Olympic athletes and soccer players? The answer is Berkshire School. The Berkshire School is a private boarding school, which was established near the actual Mount Everett in 1907. The school is not only one of the best in the state, but in the United States as a whole. Athletically, it has produced many people who have made their names known. Some of these alumni include Olympic rowers Connell Groom and Jeff McLaughlin, gold medal hockey winning players Casey Bellamy and Kendall Coyne Sheffield, and rising soccer player Jack Harrison, who was born in Lancaster, England, and transferred to Berkshire School to better his education. In 2015, he was named the Gatorade Men's National Soccer Player of the Year, the highest achievement a high school athlete can receive. He is the first Berkshire County athlete to receive the National Player of the Year in any sport. That ends this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV, CTSB TV, and NBCTC's websites shown here. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry. Thank you.